Hi again, it's Terry Jo Wheeler, and I wanted to tell you about how I started this process called the inner, sometimes I call it the inner Trinity trio or just my trio, my inner trio, the inner trio connection. But basically, it's three parts of myself. And I'll tell you how I got started. So, when about 9 years ago, I returned from living in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, which was a life that I absolutely loved in so many ways. I mean, it came with challenges as well, like everything, but it really opened my heart and expanded my consciousness in a way that I had no idea was going to happen. And when I came back and I was staying at my mom's for a bit, and I really didn't have any ambition. And it wasn't from a negative place, it was actually a really cleared out, clean space that I was in. I was very content and happy. And I think a lot of that happened because I spent 5 years in Mexico, really pushing myself to do everything that I wanted to do in terms of work, specifically like creating workshops and seminars and retreats and things that I had no idea I was going there to do. It just unfolded, and then I learned that that was really the work of my heart. So anyway, I came home and I didn't have ambition, and it was very an unusual feeling for me, who's a very driven person by nature and a workaholic for sure. And so I was just kind of sitting there not sure what to do. And I'd say within the first week, it was within the first a few days of me being at my mom's, I heard this voice say, "I want you to come to me every day in writing." And I knew enough because I'd worked with my higher self before. It's sometimes known as your higher power, your inner counselor, your inner guide, your inner guru, whatever you want to call it. I knew this voice. And it was the one that said, "You're moving to Mexico." It was the one that said, "You're moving home from Mexico." Like, I've heard it, but I've never really developed an active practice of connecting with it. And so I heard that, and I followed direction. And every morning I'd get my cup of coffee and I'd sit outside on my mom's back porch, or back in her backyard, and with my laptop, and I would write to my higher self. And we would have these dialogues about what was next steps for me, who to call, who to contact, what to do. It was became this really special connection. And soon after that, because I've done a lot of work on my inner child, there was a part of me that was feeling it was not a completely balanced dialogue. And so that was because there was a part that was missing. And the way I see the higher self, I see it as the future and all encompassing self. It basically has the higher perception of you, can see over everything that's going on in your life and many lifetimes. And then there's the personality, which for me is the 53-year-old Terry Jo that you all know and love. And then there's the child self that's really the essence or the seed that comes in, it's the past. So I'd say it's the past, present, and future. So fairly soon after I'd started this process, my inner child would start chiming in, or I would invite her into the conversation. And what I've realized over time is that this really eliminates the duality of a two-person conversation, which is why there's three, or the trio. And so there's many more things I want to share about this, but I wanted to tell you how that got started. Now, I haven't been consistent in my practice over the years. I think I did that daily for about 3 months, and then I would do it sporadically. Then I'd do it whenever there was an emergency. Um, I've done it in a variety of ways in writing. I've done it in with three chairs in a Gestalt format, which I'll talk about in the class. And now my latest way, I do it while I'm walking. And I have a special technique that I do to talk to all three parts. And it's very stealth, so nobody knows what I'm doing. And so off and on over the last 9 years, I've used it. But I will tell you, anytime my life has been in flow, when I have felt supported, when I have felt guided, when I have felt loved, cherished, and for sure not alone, it has been when I've been using this practice. When I get away from it, life goes back to the personality as the default, it's not really the default setting, because I feel we're born into the soul and the child, but it has become so strong that it's developed a lot of momentum. So it has become my default. So Terry Jo takes over when I don't take the time to actually have the dialogue with the other parts. And that's why this class is so, so special, because you have everything you need inside. I can assure you of this. You have this powerful guidance system, this incredible enthusiasm, even if it's a gentle enthusiasm. If your child was a more quiet child, mine happened to be a very sunshiny, bright, let's do it, we could do it. kid. Not all the time, because there was a lot of trauma in my childhood, but that's really the kind of the nature of my basic self, my child self. So anyway, I don't want to keep, I'm trying to keep these videos short. This is already at 5 minutes. So I just wanted to tell you the story of how that got started, how I started doing my inner trio process. And I have this Zoom class coming up starting September 16th. It's 6 Mondays from 7:30 to 8:45 Pacific Standard Time. Courses will be recorded. It also includes one private coaching session with me and a Facebook support group. It's going to be lovely and divine. I really encourage you, if you're hearing a whisper in your heart, to do it, to sign up. And you can do that by private messaging me on Facebook or emailing me at terrijowheeler@gmail.com. That's TERIJOWHEELER @gmail.com. I love you. Stay blessed.